Hello, thank you for joining us on this episode of Sports Bets for Free. My name is Scott Jenkins, your host, just a local sports bettor here in Phoenix, Arizona. And hopefully today with our bets and your bets, it's going to be another profitable day for you. Major League Baseball bets for us for Friday, July 11th. As this month continues to truck along, we just got this weekend series before we hit the All-Star break. Hopefully you got a chance to check out the games on Thursday. Kind of a shocker. Orioles sweep the Mets. We expected them to take 1 out of 2, but ended up taking both games, and that is the Mets bullpen and offense was a problem in game 1, scoring the one whopping run when they had multiple opportunities, and then towards the back half of that, Mets bullpen gives up the lead. So Orioles end up sweeping. I don't know how you can be considered one of the better teams in the NL and get swept on the road, swept at Baltimore as bad as they've been playing. But Baltimore has picked up the pace. And, now I'm not saying they're contenders to make the playoffs, but at least it's not as bad as they were when they were damn near 20 games below 500 in this one. So, roughly, 8 games below 500, 42-50, I believe is the record there. So, things are looking up, I guess, for Baltimore. Baltimore does make a trade as well, getting rid of a reliever, Baker. He's out. They get a draft pick. The Rays pick him up. And, of course, it didn't help the Rays as the bullpen gives up another lead. How many more leads are the Rays going to give up and still stay in contention in the American League East? Yankees come from a long ways back to get a win. Cubs finally get a win in that series, post to 8 spot. As there's been a lot of scoring in that series. A couple of 8-1 games, a 4-2 game in that one up in Minnesota. And rest of baseball going a little bit of this, a little bit of that. But let's get into the Friday game, shall we? First of all, if you're new to our show, welcome. Secondly, we do fade or follow 4 teams in Major League Baseball: Dodgers, Cubs, Royals, and Orioles. So we will have all of our bets in those games, but no worries. We will give you plays throughout the entire lineup. So if there's another game you're interested in, we'll give you some options for that one as well. Also, a lot of people ask where we get our research done. A lot of those is done at propsedge.io. Check out the comment section for a link over to there if you want to check that out. Also, private Discord channel is available for all of you out there. It's also going to have a link in our comments section and on our YouTube channel page as well. So check that out if you want to get on the Discord, get all this stuff early and get a bunch of bonus bets as well. So let's get started. There is going to be one-day baseball game due to the rain out with the White Sox and the Guardians. So we're going to have one at 3:10 Eastern time frame. The one, like I said, one-day game of the day. This one here, we have got Allen and Smith. So basically a repeat of what we were supposed to be on Thursday night. We'll get to see it Friday in a doubleheader here in the south side of Chicago. Smith versus Allen here. This one here is kind of a little hard to kind of gather, I guess, on a side. I think the real advantage in this game is going to be to the total and the under, as the Guardians should be favored here, which they are. $1.24 as the White Sox have been god-awful. 8.5 is the total. I honestly think you should stay away from a side in the first game, but everybody and their grandmother is going to want to play it. Trust me, I'm well aware. White Sox plus 1.5. White Sox plus 2.5 if you want to get a little juicier. Under 4.5 the first 5 innings. Under 8.5 for the game, I think, are all excellent options there. Just because it's the only game going doesn't mean you have to play it. This is definitely not our favorite game on the board by any stretch of the imagination. We think it's going to be a close game, though, 4-3, 3-2, something around that effect, as both offenses, except for when Cleveland goes to Houston, have struggled. And both pitching staffs are facing inept offenses for the most part. So we'll get on to the next game here. Is we're done with the day baseballs. We get into night baseball and we get started. We're heavy early. Marlins and the Orioles in Baltimore. Dean Kremer, Yuli Cabrera in this one for the Orioles and the Marlins. So the Marlins got beat up the last couple games by the Reds on the road. Now they head to Baltimore. Baltimore coming off the sweep, doubleheader sweep. And they've been, like I said, they've been playing a lot better. Dean Kremer on the mound has pitched better than he did. I mean, his last 4 or 5 starts have not been god-awful. Marlins offense can struggle a little bit, but they did put up some runs against Cincinnati, especially in game 1. They typically, when they get a couple of guys hitting together, it seems like the whole lineup hits on that one, so, and the way the Orioles offense has been chugging along, they've really helped out their pitchers. The reason being they hit more home run balls. Jackson Holliday's really kind of warmed up. Jordan Westbrook's come back off injury. He finally seems like he's fully ready to rock and roll. Even with all the injuries that they've had, Gunnar got a bunch of hits yesterday as well. We like over 9.5 in this one. Over 9. And if you want to make it a little simpler for you, just play the over 8.5, make it a little easier. So Marlins, Orioles, over 2.5 the first 3 innings, 4.5 the first 5, 6.5 the first 7, and 8.5 for the game. We're going to play a little smaller team total to make this thing a little bit easier. Marlins over 3.5, Orioles over 3.5 team total as well. I know those are a little bit juicier than the 4.5s out there, but I think definitely worth the play. Orioles, Marlins, yes run first inning. Then we're going to play 3 batters. 3 batters at a full 5 bets apiece. That's Hernandez from the Marlins, Gunnar and Holiday, home run double, over 1.5 hits, runs, RBIs, 2+ total bases, 3+ total bases. And then Xavier Edwards, we're going to play as well in this one. We do like Edwards for double, over 1.5 hits, runs, RBIs, and 2+ total bases. Next game up, we get to the Yankees and the Cubs in New York. Cubs on the road again. Cubs are. I don't know if they're going to have a bullpen game or Flexen. Obviously, I don't think he's going to be able to go like a full 5 innings here, as he's been basically a bullpen guy for the Royals, but they want to stretch him out a little bit, so maybe he can go 3 in this one here. And Rodon pitching for the Yankees in this one. Rodon's been god-awful as of late. No question about it. His last start was putrid, but here's the beauty of it. The Cubs against left-handers, and this is speaking from a Cubs fan, they suck. Now, in April, they were fantastic against left-handers. Since then, they can't hit a 1. First of all, their right-handed sticks, Justin Turner, has been well below average. Carson Kelly, who was a monster early in the season, he's had a couple of good games here as of late, but he had a stretch of 6-7 weeks where he couldn't hit nothing. Miguel Amaya's been on the shelf. That's another right-handed stick. Nico Horner definitely hasn't had any pop in his bat. Suzuki, who's normally really good against left-handers, seems to be doing better against righties. So, and the way Tucker's good against left-handers, being a left-handed hitter, PCA's not. Michael Busch is more of a singles hitter when it comes to against lefties. So we really like the Yankees in this spot, as we think Rodon gets it done, and they should be able to get to that Cubs flexing and bullpen all day long. Yanks money line, -1.5, 2.5, 3.5 on the run line. Yanks over 4.5 team total. Yanks -0.5 a run, first 3, first 5, first 7 innings. And then we've got Cody Bellinger, who's been red hot. And then Aaron Judge, 5 bets apiece. Home run, double, over 1.5 hits, runs, RBIs, 2+ total bases, and 3+ total bases. Next game up, Mariners and the Tigers. It's Tariq Skubal Day. So that means everybody on God's green earth is going to be on the Tigers here. Luis Castillo for the Mariners. The Mariners, the bullpen finally reared its ugly head with the problems that they had against the Yankees on Thursday. The Tigers bullpen, for the most part, it can be somewhat okay. They're not fantastic, but good enough. And let's see, we've got Castillo versus Skubal here. So 2 top pitchers going against it. Now, Skubal's continuing to have his Cy Young type of numbers. Luis Castillo's definitely not been as good this season as it's been in years past. But it's not extremely easy to score in Detroit. It's a big ballpark. We got 2 good pitchers going here. The total's a little light, 7.5's okay, I think, in this one. But 7's a little light. What I would recommend here is we focus on the first 5, especially in these under 3.5 runs, first 5 innings. Skubal and the Tigers, We like them. They're going to be a little juicy to play money line, so you're probably going to have to play a -0.5 and hope that the score is 1-0. This thing honestly could be 0-0 at the end of 5. Would not shock me in the least. If we got no score either side through 5 innings. Both teams need the home run ball typically to score a bunch of runs. That's why I don't think we're going to see a boatload of runs in this one, but maybe they get a couple doubles or something to that effect. It's just hard for both these teams off of these pitchers, I think, to hit homers. Even though you got Kyle Riley up there, there's a difference when you're going against Skubal, right? The Mariners do strike out a ton. So Skubal, if you want Ks in this game, in my opinion, this is the one to get it. The only way he doesn't get there is for some reason his swing and miss stuff is off. But Tigers -0.5 run first 5. Tigers and the Mariners under 3.5 first 5. Skubal for Ks. Eliminate the back half of this game, I think, as much as humanly possible, unless you just want the Tigers to win or you don't have that option with what state you're in and the books that you can play. But do like the Tigers to win this game outright. I don't know if it stays under 7 for the entire game, as that Mariners bullpen showed you they can give up a bunch of runs. The Tigers bullpen's been known to do it as well. But if you want it under 7 for the 7.5 for the game might be a little tight. So on the total, I might stay away from the entire game, just focus on that front 5. But with Skubal and Castillo pitching, we should see a low number early. Tie game at the end of 5 instead of playing Tigers -0.5 run. There is options for a lot of books for tie game at the end of 5 innings. I think that might be an excellent option for you. That's definitely going to be plus money more times than not as well. Like I said, we could see another 0-0 battle at the end of 5. Next game up, we've got the Rockies and the Reds. Chase Burns at home, Herman Marquez for the Rockies. So Herman Marquez was kind of cruising along until his last start, and then he got blown up. Chase Burns, so ever since his first start was great, the fact that he struck out a bunch of dudes, got shelled in the second start. Then for some reason the Phillies didn't beat him to death, in the next start. But Chase Burns should have enough to keep the Rockies at bay, I would think. Now, the total in this game only a 9.5. I think you've got a lot of options in this game. We love the Reds first of all. So Reds money line front 5, Reds -0.5 run front 5, Reds -1.5 on the run line. Chase Burns, if you can get him at 5 or 6 Ks, which I don't know if you'll be able to, but if you can, he's probably worth a play there. But that over 9.5 and over 4.5 first 5 innings is screaming over in this particular game here. The Reds over their team total. Of the games out there, this is one that we really like. I think there's multiple avenues to get at this game and to come away with winners, or hell, bet them all. And got a chance to, do really well in this game. So to run through those again, Reds money line, first 5 and game. Reds -0.5 run first 5 and 1.5 for the game. Chase Burns Ks, if you can get him around the 5-6 mark. Reds over team total. Reds, which should be probably 5.5 in this game. I think they got an excellent chance to score 6. Reds and Rockies over 4.5 first 5, or over 5 if you want to play it for 6. And that one over 9.5 for the game, I think, are excellent ways to go at that Reds-Rockies game. Next game up, Tampa Bay Rays and the Red Sox. So another right-hander going for Tampa Bay. As you can kind of see, we saw yesterday, all of a sudden those runs come way down for the Red Sox against right-handers. Well, plus the fact that they weren't playing the frickin' Rockies again. But the Red Sox are on fire 4 in a row. Woohoo! Watch out, everybody, in that one, right? So a lot tougher game. They come from behind. They get to the Rays bullpen. Rasmussen pitching here. The Rays have got some decisions to make on what the hell to do with this bullpen, because it's been brutal, to say the least. I don't know. I mean, decisions for me are pretty simple. Everybody that's blown up lately is coming to the side or going down. Anybody they can send down, and just keep bringing up arms until they find some guys that can get a couple of consecutive games in a row where they don't allow anything. That would be my thought on that. But the Rays have got to do something, because offensively, I think they're doing enough. Starting pitching-wise, I think they're doing enough. It's just right now is the bullpen. I mean, you cannot continue to give away games like this, especially right now when the Yankees were down. The Blue Jays finally lost the game to the White Sox. You got a chance to, the Yankees end up coming back in that game to win, so you fall even further behind the Yanks. But they've got to make some decisions here. This game here, Rasmussen versus Dobbins in this one, they definitely have the pitching matchup here. But I'll be really honest, the way the bullpens kind of went for them, I think the safest play is going to be plus 1.5 here for the Red Sox, plus a half a run front 5. Now, I think Tampa Bay may win this game, but probably a 1-run game at that. But I expect Junior Caminero to keep, rocking and rolling, I think, for the Rays, if you're looking for some sort of batter prop in that mix. But it's a tough one right now for the Rays because you want to play him as a handicapper, but you have to play him probably front 5 in order to do so, which a lot of people want to play the whole game. Not me. If I can eliminate things down to freaking 1 at bat, I would rather do that. But unfortunately, if you want to play Rays money line first 5, that's also a play here. Or like I said, the Red Sox plus a half for 5. But I like the Red Sox plus 1.5 for the game itself in this particular spot. Don't know if we're going to see a boatload of runs here. So I don't know if I get near that total of 8.5. As we saw a 4-3 game on Thursday night, but the only way we see a boatload of games is one of the bullpens, I think, implodes in this one here. That game was by the way, those two were at 7:10 Eastern time. So let's get to the 8:10 Eastern time frame. Nationals and the Brouhahas. Brewers coming off of that sweep of the Dodgers. Now, hopefully what happened to the Astros doesn't happen to the Brewers, that they just sweep the Dodgers and all of a sudden get swept themselves. But I don't think we're going to have to worry about that one too much here with the Nationals and Mitchell Parker coming to town. Mitchell Parker's gotten destroyed. Brewers are normally solid at home. They're a little high priced here against the Nats. I will say that up front. I think this thing's a little overvalued. I thought it was going to be around $1.50 favorite. They're closer to $1.80 here. So if you're looking for value, you're definitely getting, I think, on the National side. I think the Brewers are going to win this game. So it's a question of value versus what's going to happen. Value says Nationals, but I can't play it. Brewers, money line. But if you want to play the Nationals plus 1.5, I don't blame you at all, as the Brewers do play a lot of close games as well. So in that one there, total-wise, if we look at that one at 8.5, I think it has an excellent chance to go over in this one as well. Next game up at 8:10 Eastern time, Pirates and the Twins. We get a Oh, I love this pitching matchup. First of all, if Joe Ryan's going to be traded, what can the Cubs put together to get Joe Ryan? That's right. They're probably not looking at somebody that's going to be that expensive. But if he's actually available, I got some prospects we can send your way for sure. If he's available, I don't think he's going to be. I think the Twins kind of hang close enough where they're like, well, we could possibly get to the wild card, even though Pablo Lopez has been out. And I don't know. Buxton, he got pulled early the other night. I really don't know if he's going to become available. It's hard for him to get rid of frontline starters like that unless you're getting an absolute just avalanche of young talent back. So I don't know if he's going to be available or not. But anyway, him against Skeens. And since we talked about Joe Ryan, no, Paul Skeens is not available. So you'd have to trade your home farm system plus picks for the next 10 years. He's not even available for free agency for another 4 years after this, and he's not even going to make any real money besides the rookie pay scale for another 2.5 seasons. So, no, he's not available unless you're willing to trade the home farm system, which no team's going to be willing to do for just one guy, right? So the Paul Skeens thing, I think we need to put to rest. Unless the Yankees are willing to trade Aaron Judge, which they're not, that'd be about the only thing I think that would shake up the world. But anyway, if the Yankees do that, I think they fall even further behind. But anyway, let's move on. We have a really good pitching matchup here in Minnesota. So the Pirates can't score. You put that with Joe Ryan. And the Twins can score, but normally not against the high leverage pitching like Paul Skeens. So total in this game around 7. I think once again we focus on the front 5. The main reason and we focus on the first 5 innings in this one is really simple. Paul Skeens has not went more than 5 innings in multiple starts. You can't, and the Pittsburgh bullpen is not that great. 3.5 in the first 5. Under that might be one of the best plays on the board. So first 5 innings, under 3.5 total runs. And if both pitchers come out and do what they can, should be no problem. Strikeouts for both of these gentlemen, Ryan and Skeens, should be on your radar. Now, keep in mind with Skeens, he hasn't won more than 5 innings lately. So if he comes out and the number's at 9, I think you got to stay away. Joe Ryan tends to go deep into games. So Joe Ryan K's going against that Pittsburgh offense, like it. Under 3.5 team total for Pittsburgh. Once again, is that hammer? We hammered that all series long against the Royals, and that was nothing but winners for all 3 games. I think that's an excellent one here again in this game. Is the Twins do have the better offense than Pittsburgh does, but so under 3.5 team total there, if you can get it. If it's a little juicy, okay, maybe you're going to pair it with something else. Maybe the number is at 2.5. 2.5 is a little dicier. 3.5 always a little bit easier. But I think a lot of opportunities in this game in a pitcher's duel. Like we look at Skeens K's, Ryan K's. Under 6.5 for the games, good possibility. Under 3.5 first 5. Pirates under 3.5 team total. All viable plays for you in that one there. Next game up, also 8:10 Eastern time. Mets, Royals. So what do we think about the New York Mets after that mess that they just provided on Thursday? Well, we don't think very much of them, that's for sure. Offensively, Kota Senga coming back, or if I pronounced his name wrong, I'm sorry. For all of you out there that always want to criticize me on how I pronounce something, okay, I'm a hick. What do you want me to tell you? I'm from the Midwest. We're down in Phoenix, but I don't pronounce everything correctly all the time, right? So my apologies up front. But anyway, in this game here, Senga versus Waka. And total at some reason is at 9. Are they watching 2 different offenses than what I'm watching? And the Mets are a favorite here. Are they watching 2 different offenses than what I'm watching? First of all, the Royals score 5. It's normally a miracle game. Normally, the battle's at 4. Senga hasn't pitched in, over a month. And this total's at 9? Really? Okay. I'm shocked. I know both bullpens are bad, but I'm still shocked. I thought for sure this thing would be 8.5 or 8 or 8.5. Anyway, in this game, we've got a ton of plays here. We're going to take that 9. We're going to go to 9.5 because the juice wasn't bad. We're going to play Royals Mets under 3.5 runs first 3 innings, under 5.5 the first 5. Under 7.5 the first 7, under 9.5 for the game. Royals money line, Royals plus 1.5 and 2.5. Miguel Garcia is 3 for 4 against single lifetime, so we'll play Garcia over 1.5 hits, runs, RBIs, and 2+ total bases. We're also going to play Bobby Witt over 1.5 hits, runs, RBIs, 2+ total bases. Juan Soto for a walk. Francisco Lindor to strike out once plus. And Torrens for the Mets to strike out once plus. Lindor struck out 1 time or more in the last 5 games. Same thing. Torrens, I think, is 4 out of his last 5. Like I said, thanks again to propsedge.io for all those wonderful stats that we get, especially on the latest 5, 10, 15, 20 games, things of that nature. Should be a couple of easy opportunities there for strikeouts. I don't know how many innings Senga's going to go. On strikeouts, I would probably play his unders. The Royals don't strike out a ton because they swing early and often in the count like mad crazy. And I don't expect a ton of runs here because, A, it's hard to score runs in Kansas City. It's one of the bigger ballparks out there. And the Mets normally have to score by the home run ball. Not that home runs can't be hit there, but it's not like hitting them in Cincinnati, or it's not like hitting them in Philly, or, it's not as easy to hit them out as Shea Stadium either. So definitely, like I said, the Royals there, even if they don't win, if they keep that game within 1 and that game's lower scoring, you're going to make a boatload of dollars on this particular game here. Next game up, we've got also an 8:10 Eastern time frame game. We've got Rangers and the Stros. Lance McCullers at home, Jack Leiter for the Rangers. So this is strictly a fade against Lance McCullers at home. He's been awful at home. We tried to get on him last time. We thought he'd break the streak. He didn't do it. The Rangers are plus money here. The value is definitely with them. I understand Jack Leiter's not been anything dominant, The Stros have also lost 3 straight in a series against the Guardians, who the Guardians couldn't score more than 2 runs in like the previous 15, or 3 runs, more than 3 in the previous 15 games. All of a sudden, for 3 straight games, did it. But McCullers has got awful at home. Rangers plus a half a run, first 5. Rangers money line, Rangers plus 1.5. McCullers over earned runs. McCullers under outs. I think are going to all be excellent opportunities here. If you want to play Corey Seager as well, I love Seager on the Rangers. He hasn't had the best overall year, but he's a great, great hitter. You could also look at Evan Carter, Adelis Garcia as well in that one. Then we get to another 8:10 Eastern time frame game. The Guardians and the White Sox game 2. Gavin Williams versus Justin Cannon in this one. So I'm going to be really simple with this one. Whoever wins game 1 loses game 2. It's hard to win a doubleheader. I know that the Orioles did it on Thursday, but it's not easy winning. The Guardians are, even though we have a season-long play on them, we got to be realistic on what's going on with them at the moment. They won 3 straight after they lost 10 or some ridiculous number. I don't have the biggest faith, even though they beat the Astros for 3 straight. I think they got some very fortunate, and they got some home runs in Houston. Houston does give up, that place is divvy to give up the home run ball. South side of Chicago, not so much. But do like what the White Sox at home have been okay. They were good until about 3 weeks ago. They were battling to be around 500 at home. Then they hit a losing streak. But I expect all these games to be close. First of all, AL Central teams, any division rivalry like this, even though we might nationally might consider the White Sox and Guardians a rivalry, those games are normally a little bit closer just because they see each other so much, right? And I like the fact, like I said, whoever wins game 1 loses game 2, and vice versa. Whoever loses game 1 wins game 2. Plus, you don't know how many guys are going to be out, things of that nature. So we won't tell you exactly who to pick here in game 2, but we did like the White Sox to keep things close in game 1. I could expect both games to be close, and maybe the White Sox plus 1.5 is worth another chance here as well. Next game up, 8:15 Eastern time frame. Braves and the Cardinals. Libator for the Cardinals and Holmes for the Braves. So what do we think out of this Braves team? Well, let's see. Fuentes got blown up, and then they destroy the A's in the game after that. As we're recording this, the game's actually tied 4 apiece in the 8th against the A's, as the A's just tied it up. Braves bullpen not that good. Cardinals, I think, realistically, as a team, are better this year than the Braves. I think the records kind of play that out. On paper, when you look at this thing, I don't know how the Braves lineup doesn't score 7+ runs a game. But, Olsen hasn't had the season. Acuna's been fabulous for his half of the half, right? So Austin Riley's been okay. Murphy hasn't been anything. Ozzie, you got guys, what is it? Albies hasn't really done much. Michael Harris, they expected to pick up, do well. He hasn't. Drake Baldwin's had a pretty good first half, and that kind of came out of nowhere, right? But overall, the Braves are a huge disappointment. In fact, I would hope that the Braves figure out they're not really in this thing and try to sell off some pieces. Marcell Ozuna being one of them. He hasn't done much this season. He's older. He should be a rental player for somebody. I doubt you trade Olsen, Acuna, or Riley, right? Or Baldwin, or maybe even Harris. But everybody else has got to be available. Spencer Strider, I guess, maybe not as well, even though he gave up 3 early runs to the A's in his start there. But this year's kind of a wash year for Spencer anyway, coming off Tommy John. So everybody else should be available. They should be looking to reload for the future, and they especially need pitching. As you can almost say that, though, about every team out there, to be really honest. But in this game here with Libator and Holmes on the mound, it's about a toss-up game here. Total's at 8.5. We're going to attack the total. Over 4.5 runs first 5. Over 8.5 for the game. Over 2.5 runs front 3. The Braves should be able to hit Libator, and the Cardinals should be able to hit Holmes. This game should be a 6-4, 7-4 type game. I don't sidewise. It's a toss-up game, and normally we're going to throw those to the home team. But there's definitely should be room for a ton of runs in this one, even possible 2 touchdowns, like an 8-6 final in that one. Next game up. We get to the later games in the night, 9:38 Eastern time. Angels and the D-backs. Tyler Anderson against Ryan Nelson. If you haven't watched Ryan Nelson pitch as of late, he's been good. Tyler Anderson for the Angels has not been good. So this one should break down pretty easy for you guys if we're just going off the starting pitchers. The D-backs, once again, play tough in San Diego. Angels they're getting waxed again by the Rangers. D-backs looks like they're going to lose probably, might lose game 3 against the D-backs, but played them tough in the first 2 games. Even though they lost 1-0 in the first one, they played tough, right? They pitched tough. The second game, they come out and win. Padres, finally get to them a little bit, but Ryan Nelson's pitched well. Like I said, for the D-backs, I expect them to play well in this one. First game of the series on Friday night. D-backs are a slight favorite here, so I think you really got some advantage on the money line as the Angels still continue to suck at home for a lot of this. So D-backs money line, first 5. D-backs money line for the game. D-backs over their first team total. Eugenio Suarez, I think you got to look for in this game. Lourdes Gurriel Jr. also in this game if you're looking for some batter props for the D-backs. Next game up. Philadelphia Phillies travel down to San Diego, and we got Beggar and Ranger Suarez in this one. Man, these 2 teams with the way their offenses go and the totals at 8, are you freaking kidding me? Like, what are we going to do here? I'll give you one hint. Under, and under. Now, as I say all that, watch the game be like 14-5 or something stupid like that. But the way this thing looks on paper, these 2 offenses can't seem to get out of their own way most nights, right? And Ranger Suarez pitched pretty well. Let's give Ranger credit. Jesus Luzardo has been the questionable left-hander in that Phillies rotation. Even though Beggar hasn't been fantastic, it's not easy to score a ton of runs in San Diego. San Diego has one of the better bullpens out there. Now, the Phillies have bottom 10 bullpen. So if the game's tight late, it's probably an excellent let's say the game's tight late, probably an excellent opportunity to hop on the Padres. As that the Phillies bullpen's not that good. I don't expect much runs out of either side. Under 4.5 front 5. If you want to make this thing a little bit easier where there's no push, under 8.5 for the game as well in that one. Sidewise, like I said, might be better to take this thing live and hope for a close game and then cash something late there with the Padres. Like I said, and take advantage of that Phillies bullpen. Next game on the board, we're down to the last 2. Max Scherzer and the Blue Jays on the road. Going out to Sacramento, Luis Severino for the A's. Total in this one at 10.5. Blue Jays about a $1.40-ish favorite. So the Blue Jays obviously disappointed everybody, and I had to hear it about 5,000 times on social media like I can't read a scoreboard, that Toronto lost against the White Sox Game 3. It happens. You're not going to go 162-0 against the White Sox or the Rockies even. You're just not, right? Okay, on paper, it's hard to say that there's nothing in that game that spelled out the Blue Jays should lose. Nothing. They've been hammering the ball offensively. They've been pitching well. They pitched well in that game, too. It was all in the offense. The offense just couldn't generate any runs. And the way they've been going, if somebody told you they had the White Sox in that game, that was just they wanted plus money for a play, or they thought something was off with the book number. Okay, whatever. Like, seriously, there's no handicap that said that the Blue Jays should lose that particular one to the White Sox. Besides, maybe you don't like sweeps or something, but those happen all the time. That's why there's more win streaks last more than 3 games. So this particular matchup here, though, with Severino, the way he's pitched, I honestly like the total over 10.5. I like the Blue Jays to get 5.5 on their own. I like the A's to score in there well. Over 5.5 the front 5. Scherzer, even though he didn't give up a lot of runs in his last start, he had multiple base runners all over the spot. All it takes is a hit or two in timely situations for those games to blow up on Scherzer right now. Over 5.5 front 5, over 10.5 for the game. Slight lean to the Blue Jays. Wouldn't play it, though, because I think it's a little juicy for the money line. This could end up being a one-run game. This thing could be 8-7, 6-5, 7-6, somewhere in that mix. But, and the good news is that besides for Mason Miller and the A's bullpen, there's not a lot back there. So if the Blue Jays are down a run, you might have an opportunity live to get back in that one as well. And the final game of the night is we went through a bunch of games. This would be game 16. Dodgers and the Giants. Logan Webb, Dustin May in this one. So everybody's favorite Dodgers, 6-game losing streak. Wow. And they can't score. I think the most runs they've scored is 2 runs during those 6 games. Wow. There you go. Tell me this Dodgers team's 105 wins. Hell no. Pitching-wise, been not good. Even Glasnow's start, there was a ton of walks. They say it was a quality start. There was base runners on against the Brewers. Glasnow was walking guys. And to be really honest, if the Brewers could have held off at swinging at some bad pitches, he'd have had even more walks and walked in more runs. So was it a good start? Oh, okay start. We'll go with that. Glasnow, though, like I told you in the last episode, they overpaid for him. I mean, they needed pitching desperately. They still need pitching desperately. Expect the Dodgers to probably figure out how to move 15 players for Joe Ryan. It's just what they do, right? They've got unlimited resources, unlimited payroll, and they always have guys in the minor leagues that are good. They've always got assets. They desperately need starting pitching as well and relievers, as their bullpen's gotten taxed all season long. Don't know when Blake Snell's going to be back. Can't really trust Glasnow for the rest of the season. Clayton Kershaw hasn't been absolutely terrific. Logan Webb, though, does have pretty decent numbers against the Dodgers overall. And it's tough to score in San Francisco, as everybody is aware of. And the Dodgers, by the way, this is probably going to be the number one question for the day. Dodgers money line, because they're plus money, right? Barely plus money, but plus money, and it never happens, as they are so overly rated by the books and Joe fan alike. But this particular game here, we do love the Giants quite a bit. Giants money line, minus 1.5, 2.5, 3.5 on the run line. Giants over 3.5 team total. Dodgers under 3.5 team total. Then we get to Logan Webb, 6+ strikeouts, under 2.5 earned runs. 2 batters, 5 bets apiece. Devers and Jung-Ho Lee. And for Devers, we've got home run double, over 1.5 hits, runs, RBIs, 2+ total bases, 3+ total bases. And for Lee, the same thing, home run double, over 1.5 hits, runs, RBIs, 2+ total bases, and 3+ total bases. All right. So we just went through a lot of stuff here for Major League Baseball on July 11th. If you like the content you're seeing here and want to see some more, we YouTube channel. So just subscribe to the channel there as well. If you want to see those episodes to come up even easier, turn on the notifications for YouTube, and you'll get a notification to your phone or device to let you know Sports Bets for Free's dropped a new episode of Bets. Also, we've got other things to help you out as well. Looking for a better research tool? PropsEdge.io. We will have the link in our comments section as well, is where we get a ton of player prop capabilities. They do multiple sports. If you're in the WNBA right now, yes. If you're in the NBA, obviously a lot of you are. Major League Baseball, NFL football, college basketball. All of those are going to be available at PropsEdge.io. We use them quite a bit as well. Sometimes a little bit easier, by the way, if you're using them on a laptop or desktop versus the phone, just from what it currently sits. Be honest with you, we use them on a laptop, much, much easier to get all the data we're looking for from there. So if you're looking for something to sort it a little bit better, give you some options. It'll also show you a lot of different books where they're getting the numbers at as well, to show you a lot of value. Definitely want to check out PropsEdge.io. Also, if you want to take a look at all of the bets that we just laid down, where the juice we got those at, and how many units we played, what book we placed them at, you can also check it out on our Google Sheets. You can find that link in our comments section as well. Also, you'll find it in the YouTube page as well. So you can get both of those there. Also, private Discord channel is available for all of you out there. You can get to it by our WAP link as well. I apologize if it wasn't working yesterday. We tried to get those comments and send those back out. But WHOP, once you click that, then you hit join. It is a paid product. It is not free. But you do get all the bets early. Like they got the baseball bets, I think, a couple hours early. We don't do public shows for WNBA right now. We had those out already for the Discord. So you can get ahead of line moves and juice moves because, hell, since recording this, some lines have already moved, or juice has moved as well a bunch. For an example, in the last game of the Red Sox, Rockies, I'll give you a prime example. The line moved over 140 VIG on the money line. It was 290 and ended up 430. So is it important to get in early? Absolutely. So you can get on, like I said, on the Discord channel through the WAP link that you'll find in the comment section as well. Also, you'll find it on our YouTube channel page. We do appreciate everybody's support as always, and we look forward to seeing you on our next episode.